Hello, sixth graders. It's Mr. Gardell. It's great to be back with you on this amazing day. All right, let's get started with our learning. Let's start with a joke instead. Here is our joke for the day. What is a spider's favorite thing to do on a computer? What is a spider's favorite thing to do on a computer? You have 5 seconds to think of a response. Your 5 seconds starts now. All right, time is up. What is a spider's favorite thing to do on a computer? Of course, make websites. Oh my goodness, I cracked myself up. Another hilarious joke. All right, let's get serious. Today we're going to start learning about. Nope, I'm going to save it just a little bit longer. Before I say those words, I want to focus first on the number 620,000. What does the number 620,000 represent? What is it in reference to? Can you think of anything that would go along with that large number? I'll give you a few seconds to think about your answer. All right, 620,000 is the approximate number of people who lost their life in the Civil War. The Civil War started on April 12th of 1861. We're talking a long time ago, and still 620,000 people lost their lives. The Civil War did end on April 9th, 1865. In other words, the war was almost 4 years to the date. There's a couple things I want to mention what you're looking at right now. In the upper left-hand corner, you see a flag of which pretty much looks like the United States of America flag. Obviously, it's missing some stars because not all 50 states are states yet by the start of the Civil War. So in the upper left, you see the U.S. flag. Some people during the Civil War would call it the Union flag or the North. In the upper right-hand corner, we have the Confederate flag or the Confederacy. Some people would also say that this flag is representative of the South. So we have the Union versus the Confederacy or the North versus the South. Okay. You should be able to understand both, and hopefully you will starting now. And you can see some other paintings and graphics and images down below. So today we're going to get started with our learning, of course, on the Civil War. You will see a video to watch, okay, that you're watching right now before you do anything else. So I'm creating just basically an introduction to the Civil War, our Civil War learning. And really what I want you to focus on is remember always, always, always in social studies to complete things in numerical order. Start at the very top, number 1, and work your way down. And you'll look at this list and go, oh my gosh, Mr. Gardell, there's a lot of learning to do today. Yeah, there is. But that's okay. I know you're up to the challenge. Before we start talking specifically about what you're going to do today, I want to go back and take a look real quick at our learning targets. Our learning targets, remember, just let us know what we're going to learn. And we are going to spend the next 2 weeks on the Civil War. So here are 4 main areas of learning that will take place over the next couple of weeks. 1, I can explain the causes of the Civil War. In other words, what caused the Civil War? Or what were the causes of the Civil War? 2, I can describe how the debate over slavery and abolition played out in Minnesota. Some of you are like, I don't even know what abolition means. You're going to learn about what abolition or abolitionist means today when we focus on vocabulary as one of our learning activities. Number 3, I can create a timeline of the key events of the Civil War. You may not be exactly asked to create a timeline, but you will need to understand the key events of the Civil War and take those key events and put them into chronological order. And lastly, we will describe the wartime experiences of Minnesota soldiers and civilians. Okay. So there's a difference, right? Soldiers meaning they're off fighting in war, civilians meaning they're staying here in our state. Remember, we are a state in 1861, although we're only 3 years old, we still are a state. And with regards to the Minnesota soldiers, we're going to focus on one starting today. His name is Charlie Goddard. All right, let's go back into our main folder, specifically into today's learning activities. So after this video, you're going to watch a short 2 minute, 20 second or so introductory video to chapter 8. So you will have to obviously get to our online textbook. That video is found on 8.01 underneath the VIT. This will say 3 by the time you watch the video, is you will ultimately then read the short introduction beneath the video. Then I want you to define Civil War, and I want you to post your own definition in Padlet. And down below, it gives you a direction on how you can add your own definition and understand that it's an anonymous definition. So I don't want you to just copy and paste off of Google. Hey, what does Civil War mean? And then you copy and paste it. No, I want you to come up with your own definition. Okay, the next learning activity is the Chapter 8 vocabulary. There you will learn about what abolition or abolitionist means. Then you're going to start diving into Soldier's Heart. And really, this video is what I want you to understand how you're going to read a book in online learning. So, a couple of things. One, every day you're going to read at least one chapter. Today, you're going to focus on the forward part of the book and then read chapter 1, which is titled June of 1861. Oh, I clicked on something. My apologies. And so you're going to focus on those two parts of the book. But when you're finished with each chapter, not the forward, you don't need to summarize the forward, but when you're finished with each chapter, you are going to summarize what you just read. And your summary can either be on paper and pencil, using paper and pencil. Okay, some of you prefer to do that. Others of you might want to do what I would encourage you to do, and that's to simply to log into your Hastings Apps account and pull up a blank Google Doc. And so I'm going to click on a blank one. I'm going to title this Soldier's Heart. Whoa, I don't know what just happened. We'll start all over. And then here is where you can start to include your summary. What I would encourage you to do is to put down chapter 1 and then the title of that chapter. And the title of chapter 1 is June of 1861. And this is what I want you to focus your summary on. 1, focus on the central or main idea. I can't spell. Central or main ideas of the chapter. Okay. I want you to think about the characters that come up throughout the chapter. So, for example, if Charlie Goddard comes up in chapter 1, okay, who is he? What's his name? How old is he? Where does he live? Who does he live with? What does he do? Okay, in other words, what is his job? Also focus on the setting, or in other words, where the story takes place. And is there any conflict that's occurring within the chapter? And what I would encourage you to do is to also bold the title of the chapter. If you want to make it bigger, you can. This is all up to you. Okay. But really, this is what you're focused on, the main or central ideas, the characters, settings, and conflict, if any, of the chapter. And focus getting your summary into complete detailed sentences. Now, I'm not going to say you need to have 7 complete detailed sentences for each chapter. No, come up with what you think's appropriate for the chapter. Some of you are like, cool, I'm only going to do 1. No, okay, that's not going to capture everything. So I'll let you decide what works best so that you can capture the entire chapter in a condensed summary. And then just know that this saves automatically so that when you get to chapter 2 tomorrow, you just simply pull up your Google Doc and off you go. After reading the chapter, you can come back to this doc and obviously complete your summary. So again, you can complete your summary on Google Doc or on paper and pencil. Now, some of you are wondering, well, where's the book? You can't give us a book. Where is it? Well, it's online, obviously. So where are you going to find that? You're simply going to click, okay, on the title of the chapter. And what we're using right now is something called Natural Reader. And you'll notice that I left off where I last left off, and that's at the start of chapter 1. But I don't want to be at the start of chapter 1. I want to be at the start or the forward section. Okay, remember, you don't need to summarize the forward section of Soldier's Heart, but you do need to listen to it or read it. So you have options. Natural Reader, either you can just simply read it, Soldier's Heart, forward. War is always and always appalling. You could read it. The other option is you can have it read to you. Okay, there's a few options, and I'm not quite certain what options you are going to have versus what I have. But the first thing is I would encourage you to keep the speed at 1. And if you have the option, you could determine who you want to read it to you. And you can see the names of all these individuals that would have more of a US accent. You can see down below there's someone with a UK accent. I would encourage you to pick one from the US, but ultimately it's your choice. So I'm going to choose Matthew. Okay. I have a cousin named Matthew. I don't know why I picked it, but that's what I'm going with. So how do I start this? Well, just simply highlight the beginning and it will start, Natural Reader will, it will start reading it for you. And you'll notice that I hit pause. If I hit play again, it goes back. So once I hit pause and I hit play, it just goes back unless I decide where to highlight it, although it doesn't look like that's even going to allow me. So I would encourage you to listen through the entire chapter and not pause. If you want to jot down quick notes while the chapter is being read to you on a separate sheet of paper or even within your doc, you could do that. But I even think that would be distracting. I would encourage you to simply just listen to the chapter afterwards. Go write your summary. If you're still struggling on what to write, then go back and re-listen or reread the chapter itself. So that is Natural Reader. It works very, very neat. Okay. It works very well. And then once you're finished with not only the foreword, but chapter 1, which is titled June of 1861 in Soldier's Heart, then you're finished. The last thing that I want to let you know, and I should have stated this probably earlier, is that Soldier's Heart, there we go. If you're thinking of the author's name is Gary Paulsen. Gary Paulsen also wrote the book Hatchet. And the genre of this book is historical fiction. So it is based off of historical, true information, but it's also fiction because Gary Paulsen, the author, elaborates a little bit and goes off into different directions that don't necessarily make this 100% historical nonfiction or the truth. So he does kind of elaborate in some parts of the book, but nonetheless, it does really capture what Charlie Goddard went through, not only before the Civil War, but after the Civil War as well, and kind of gives you a perspective of what occurred while he himself was off fighting in the 1st Minnesota Volunteers during the Civil War. All right. That's all I got for you. The big thing that I want to reinforce is make sure you complete everything in numerical order. Enjoy the book. I know 6th graders in the past have really, really enjoyed Soldier's Heart. They've often said, keep reading, Mr. Gardell, keep reading. And I often say, no. Why? I don't know. Why not? Anyways, enough about that. So, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me or your HOA teacher. Take care and have a great day.